Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here for the first episode of using the Gosford green physical kits that obviously I have shown in my shop. So what we're going to do is, and this is completely the same as basically what I did on the Flights of Fancy, so I apologise if this is a repeat for you guys, and please do not feel that you have to watch this, skip to another video or something, you know, if you don't want to see this, because all we're going to do is put our journal together in this particular video. So if I show you my formula, it's exactly the same. I tend to stick with the same formula because I know that it works, you know, really nicely for me. So I've got my sheets of A4 paper. If I tell you the mix basically that I have here, I have got 5 sheets of 200 GSM coffee dyed. It's card basically. It's, you know, it's thicker than paper, it's card. So it's going to be nice and sturdy to hold all of your pieces on. So I have 5 sheets of that. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets of a variety of other coffee dyed papers. Now these are going to be my plain ones for journaling, alongside obviously all your pull-out elements. So this I think is like 120 GSM or something, and these are just regular copy paper weight. I don't know whether that's like 80 GSM or something, but they've all been coffee dyed, and I like to just mix it up and use a mixture. So that's those. And then I have got just an envelope. Now this is not an A4 envelope, it's slightly bigger than that. I don't know what size this would kind of be, but if I show you, that is my A4 page, which my A4 over here in the UK is, I think it's 8.25 inches by 11.69. I was not aware until recently that actually A4 is not a thing everywhere. I thought it was. I think in the US they have something like 11 by 8 or something like that, so it's very slightly different. So whatever your sizes are basically, and then get an envelope, which, I mean, I like the envelopes slightly bigger, but obviously if you don't like that, you could cut your envelope down. I think that's quite nice, because then when you have ruffles and things like that, it's all sort of contained within your envelope size. So I'm going to move my physical kit to one side for a moment. In fact, just before I do that, I'm just going to separate out any bits that I might want to include in my bound parts of my journal. So we could have a book page bound inside our journal. So I'll take one of those. Obviously you had those lovely documents, the legal paperwork, so we could include one of those. They're just, I mean, they are the originals, but they effectively, they feel like they're on copy paper. They're, you know, quite flimsy. So I might have this one. And then we could have a sheet of the sheet music, I think. So, and again, I included 2 different types of the sheet music. So I'm going to just take this smaller page and bind that within the journal as well. So now I'm just going to move all my pieces to one side. Now in the Flights of Fancy, I did also bind the rectangular doily. I'm not going to do that this time because, you know, I may prefer to have that handy for pages. So all I'm going to do now is just fold all of my pieces in half. Oops. So I fold them in half like that. Oops, get this on. It's a hideous day again here today, very dark and dingy, and just not nice at all. So very wintry. And I mean, you can probably see as well, if you're kind of new to coffee dyeing, the paper types really do affect how the coffee stains the paper. I mean, this particular one, this has like quite a porous kind of feel to it. So I think the coffee must sink straight into this paper, hence it's quite an all over pattern. I mean, this is obviously where I've had something laying on there when I was drying it, but it's quite consistent Whereas this, obviously much less porous, it's got more like splodges of coffee on it. So, you know, they really do produce quite different effects, which I think is quite interesting, really. So then just, again, fold over my thicker pieces. You know, and again, this is just merely suggestion. I'm not saying this is the only way to do this. I just find, for me, this is a formula that I've found has worked. You know, occasionally, kind of when I first did, you know, some journals, I maybe used a bit too flimsy card to put the embellishment pieces on. Or, you know, I mean, look at this one, really coffee splodges all over it. Yeah, or I've used, oh, I don't know, but, you know, kind of, if you have all of your thick pieces together and then all of your thin pieces together, you don't have a kind of good variety when you're flicking through. So for me, what I like to do is pop 2 thick, then 2 thin, sorry, 3 thin. So 2 thick, 3 thin, then 2 thick ones again, and then my next 3 thin ones, or two thin ones, sorry. And that's where I will include my sheet music here, and I just kind of slot it between the two. And then I've got my document page, which obviously is plain on the back, so effectively that's like a journal page. Now, as you can see, this is bigger than A4, so what I'm going to do is just trim this down slightly. So I'm going to fold it the other way so as I can make sure I'm not actually cutting the text off, and I'm just going to trim it down, so just so it's a better fit with the other pages. Oops. Like that, just see, and then I'm just going to trim a little bit off at the edge. I don't know what size these documents would have been, but obviously slightly bigger than A4. Right, so again, I'm going to just slot that in just here before the sheet music, I think. Like that. And then I've just got the book page left as well. So we can go back to our other set of thin pages and just include that in there. Now somewhere, have I lost a thick page? Yeah, there's my final thick page, which I like to have in the centre of the signature. So you've got there a good amount of pages, you know, I think, for a signature. It's, I don't know how many pages actually are in there, but 10 pages, something like that. Now with my envelope, what I like to do is glue it, excuse me, glue it down on the flap. So I'm just going to glue that down here. Oops. And to be honest, you know, I glue this down, and then sometimes I might then cut this open and have one of the sides open of the journal, and then you can put lots more stuff in there. But I start by closing the flap, and that way you can then decide further on into making your journal whether you want to cut it open or not. Also, obviously by doing that, you've thickened your opening, if that makes sense. And then I just obviously fold my envelope in half. Now, some people obviously would cover their envelope now and decorate their envelope now before binding the journal. I mean, some people decorate their pages before decorating the journal. Again, that's all personal taste, personal choice, you know. And of course, play around and see what suits you best. I mean, personally, I haven't ever decorated pages and then bound them, and I think I would struggle to do that. Because my pages end up so big, I think I would struggle then to bind them. But, you know, you must do what works for you. So all I'm going to do now is get my clips, clip this into place Just want to see where my book page is to make sure it's not fallen down to the bottom or right at the top. Lucky I checked, because it's kind of right at the top, look. And actually right at the top and not even straight. So let's just do that again. Okay. Right. Then we're just going to bind this like that. And this envelope seems actually even bigger than the ones I normally use, so I don't know quite where this one came from, but definitely it seems even bigger. But again, you know, that's fine. So just pop that in like that. Okay. Seem to be making a meal of this today. I don't know why, but it's obviously just getting the better of me for some reason. Okay. And then I like to use my pokey tool, which now, just that second dug it out before I came on to do the video, because I thought, get everything organised, make sure I've got everything I need. And now, would you believe, I can't now see it. Perhaps I actually put it in my embroidery thread box. No, I don't think I have. Right, now I've got some green thread here, which might be nice, or actually I've got this green, which I think would be better. So I'm going to use that. Get my needle. No, that's not a needle. That's an old pokey tool that actually has broken. So I should really just bin it, but for some reason I've kept it. Okay. I'm still on the hunt now for that pokey tool. Oh, it's just so annoying. You think you're so organised, and then there it is. Right, it obviously went back into my drawer. Right, now I like to use obviously the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So I just poke my holes through. One, let's pull it out, then 2. Oops, come on. Wow, I have no strength obviously today. There we go, and then the third one here. So, and again, I mean, I don't measure. I have seen some people measure this, and you know, that's fine. If you want to measure, then by all means, if that would be helpful and, you know, a better way for you to do it, then do what you need to do. Right, there we go. Let me thread my needle now. And again, I've seen lots of people have this wonderful formula for when they're doing their thread. I don't. And I should just kind of, you know, memorize what's the formula. You know, is it like 3 times the width or something? But my memory is just like a sieve, and I just, I can't retain information like that. So I double my thread up. So if I say it's gone through the middle, then I want to go to that hole, go down to that one, go back up to that, probably go back down, and then come back up through the middle like that. Now I double it up, so what I need is basically double that length. And I'm sure that I have got way too much thread there, but it's better to have too much, isn't it, than, you know, think that you've bound your journal only to find that actually you haven't really got enough of the thread. So I'm just going to thread my needle, and obviously I use one of those really big eye needles, because the thread is pretty thick like that. Okay, okie dokie. So we go straight through the middle like that, and you want to pull it through so that you've got obviously some of your thread hanging there. And I mean, obviously I've done this on several videos now, so it's probably pretty boring, you know, to watch, but I'm aware that obviously this is a beginner's kit, so I want to make sure that I include all of the stages for anyone who is just joining for the first time. So, you know, because otherwise I feel like they'd be being missold a bit if then there were stages missing. Right, can't seem to get this through here. So that's my first hurdle. This is my least favourite part of, let's go through this side, of journals, junk journals, is making the actual journal. And I know that some people love this kind of stuff. Personally, I find this pretty fiddly. Ugh, pretty fiddly that actually I can't even get my hole in the right place. So, oh, come on, come on. There's probably this really good method for doing this, but obviously I don't know about it, or, you know, I just haven't got to grips with it perhaps. But you would have thought that having my pieces bulldog clipped in would make it a bit easier, wouldn't you? But no. Right, there we go. Finally got that through. So we go through there, and then I like to go back through the top one, which hopefully, there we go. Yep, it's actually raining now. Horrible day. My daughter's in here with me colouring, so you might be able to hear her. And then I'm just going to go back through this one.
My journal.
On your journal. She's colouring in her journal that she's making. Oh, she's making a lovely job of it. Yeah, make it pretty.
Look at the star that I'm doing. Okay, making the star nice.
It's beautiful. Yeah, so it's another rainy weekend, so that just means lots of craft time, hopefully. Yay! She agrees. Yay! She's agreeing because she thinks, oh yay, no walking. But we might just put our goggles on and go for a walk anyway, to be honest. So, because you want to get some sort of fresh air, don't you? You might have heard her just say no. There we go. But it gets to kind of about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then everyone's like needs to get out and blow the cobwebs off, don't they? Oh, come on. Now I'm struggling to find the middle hole. So I don't know what is going on today. The lighting's not helping, I have to say, because it's quite dim in here. Oh gosh, come on. Perhaps it would be easier if I actually flatten it out. I don't know.
Look what I made, Mum.
I love it. It's gorgeous, darling.
Maybe I should just make the star all green.
Oh gosh.
Super funny, isn't it, guys?
Oh my goodness, what is going on with me?
Mum's super
Yes, Mum is super silly. Super silly. Right, come on. Oh, this is super frustrating when you're doing a video. Right, I might have to come back to this. I can't actually find the hole at all. Let me get my pokey tool again. Oh my gosh, where have I put that now? Oh, it's there, look. Right, let's go back through in case I'm missing something there. Right. Oops. Come on. Yay! I clearly was missing something. Who knows what I was missing, but clearly was missing something. So I don't know why. I saw this on somebody's video. I couldn't tell you whose, but you know, when I first started journaling, and they said about going the other side of the thread. Now, I don't know whether that makes a difference, but since seeing that tip, I try and do that. So that's it. And then I just tie them off. And again, I do vary this sometimes, although I don't think I have for a long time, in that when I started journaling, I think I did do little bows here. I mean, to be honest, I've stopped doing that really so much now because my journals turn out pretty massive in the first place. And then if I've got all that bow as well in the middle, it's not that it makes it bulk out, but it makes it look quite cluttered on the page. So again, personal preference, and of course do what suits you. Right, I can take my bulldog clips off now. Not that I think they were really doing an awful lot in the end, but never mind. Right, put those there like that. So that's my journal all bound and ready to go. So I apologise for the protracted nature of that. I don't know what was going on and why it was taking me quite so long today. But that's our journal now all bound and ready to go. So, oh, you see I have got my sheet music slightly too high there, but you know, anything goes really, and yeah, it's fine. It doesn't really worry me too much. So just need to decide, do I want it that way round? Probably should have it this way round, because then I've got the book page up the right way and the vintage document, wherever that's gone. I now can't see it. Where's that gone? Oh, here we go. Yeah, so I'll probably have it that way round, I think. Yeah, so I hope that you gained something from that. Probably just how not to do it, if anything. But that's probably enough to be getting on with, obviously, for those people who have bought the kit, as in, you know, are doing this as a kind of beginning stage. So yeah, have fun and kind of bind your journal in whatever kind of fashion that you like. And join me again for the next episode, where we'll begin to kind of make some pieces and do some more fun parts of the journal making. So thanks very much, and see you all soon. Thanks, Em. Bye.